No, I just wasn't expecting.
All right. We'll call the regular meeting to order Tuesday, October 12th, 2021 at 7 p.m. City Council Chambers, 2434 Vermont Street, Blue Island, Illinois, 60406. It's now 7:01 p.m. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. The clerk, please do the roll.
Alderman Johnson.
Here.
Alderman Fairwell.
Here.
Alderman Rita.
Here.
Alderman Montoya.
Here.
Alderman McGee.
Present.
Alderman Carr.
Here.
Alderman Roll.
Here.
7 ayes, Your Honor.
Quorum. We need a motion to approve the city council minutes from September 28th, 2021. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Alderman Rita, second by Alderman McGee. Any questions? Alderman Farnwell?
I just one, so towards the end after our executive session, and I wondered this at the time, and I just want to raise it as a question really for later, consideration. After the executive session, the note says a discussion was held in executive session regarding waiving late fees for affordable recovery in the bankruptcy proceeding. I just don't know if we've been that specific in the past, and I wanted to ask if you want to be more general or if that's be that specific. Yeah, I just wanted to ask the question. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any other questions? If not, clerk, please do the roll.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Fairwell.
Aye.
Alderman Rita.
Aye.
Alderman Montoya.
Aye.
Alderman McGee.
Aye.
Alderman Carr.
Aye.
Alderman Roll.
Aye.
7 ayes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. And before I go into public comment, Alderman Rita, who is an employee at Eisenhower High School, has a few statements, then we're going to open up the public comment. Alderman?
Over the past 7 months, we at Eisenhower have had 3 students hit by cars on 127 between Sacramento and Highland. The first student was hit crossing 127th Street with her brother near Highland. The way that intersection is set up, it makes it very difficult for cars to see students and for students to see cars. She died and was buried on her 17th birthday. The second student was hit crossing 127th in front of the auto dealership near Sacramento. He broke his femur, pelvis, knee, and ankle, and had internal bleeding in both kidneys and the liver. He is out of the hospital, but in a wheelchair and is still unable to attend school. He is 14 years old. The student lives near the intersection of 127th and Highland. This past Friday, the student had attended our school play and was walking home on 127th Street. She crossed the street at Highland intersection. The light turned green and the car could not see her and hit her. She suffered a head injury that put her in a coma. The family does not know if she will wake up. The student is 15 years old. She plays volleyball, sings in the choir, show choir, is in junior ROTC. I'm sorry. The teachers and students at DDE want to help the city and make a change. Whether that's with petitions, contacting IDOT, raising money. We are all invested. Our school community has been hurt too many times. I want you to know I am here and I am listening. I want to work together, and I will urge my colleagues to work together to make a change. And with that, I'd like to introduce the students of Eisenhower and to turn it over to the mayor for public comment. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. And I'll have comments too, but I'll keep them under mayor's business. Just to let the public know, please come on up and speak whatever you want to speak. And once you've said it, we'll allow the next person to come up and speak. You can choose to give your name if you work at the school or if you're a student at the school. That's only if you want to. If not, it's public comment. It's open to anybody. All I ask is that feel free to take say what you have to say, and then let somebody else come up there. So, and at that, I'll open up the public comment.
Hello. My name is Marie Serwin, and I'm an assistant principal that oversees crisis, amongst other things, at Eisenhower High School. We're coming here today to bring awareness to the danger that has impacted our school at the intersection of 127th and Highland. As Ms. Rita has stated, in the past 7 months, we've had students severely injured and a female student die. As the person in charge of crisis, I've seen firsthand how much our DDE family has been devastated by these incidents. We are here today because we want a change. We want our students and community to be safe and feel safe, and we want it done quickly. We are here to help the city of Blue Island in any way possible to get rectangular, rapid flashing beacons, speed traps, and/or anything that will alert motorists of the crosswalk and help protect pedestrians at 127th and Highland. Our students needed this 7 months ago, and they still need it now. Please help us and use us to assist in this process. We know you have been trying, but with our efforts combined, I'm confident we can get to our joint goal faster. I also want to take this time to invite all of you to a girls volleyball game that will be played in Yaya's honor at Eisenhower High School on October 19th at 4:30 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Lucio Cáceres, and I am a junior attending high school, Eisenhower High School. In the past 3 years of high school, I have heard of about 5 accidents on 127th involving students, and that's just counting off the top of my head. I have seen firsthand how these accidents have affected our student body, from driving a friend home because she was shaking, terrified to go down that street, all the way to seeing some kids walk out of class because they are on the verge of throwing up because they found out what happened to their friend. I have also known victims by their first name and have made constant interaction with them. I've seen my friend's energy go down because they found out what happened. And sometimes it can be a close friend or even someone that you just know in the hallway. Now, whenever I know someone who is walking down the street, I hope they're with the group. That way they could be at least a little bit safer. I personally no longer feel safe walking down that street, especially with how dark it can get. On the rare occasions that I do, I only wear one earbud and I shiver whenever a car speeds a little too fast. These kids have names, families, friends. We are kids, and this has affected our everyday life now. I remember a petition was made not too long ago, and that resulted in what felt like nothing. It finally felt like we were trying to make a change, and then got slapped in the face, a speedometer that felt too close to the crosswalk. And now, again, I'm just a teen speaking now. I don't know what or how fast things can be brought for us. But if we have the opportunity to get something that will make us cross safely, something towards memorial or just by the school, I know kids will put it to use. It may not be ready for my graduating class or the class after me. But if you see a change, we would greatly appreciate it and know that you care. The students for Shania and Jock and Eric and Jamari and Lanaya and any other victim that has been affected. Let's help make our community safe for everyone. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
So I'm the father of the daughter that just got hit on Friday. I left my daughter in the hospital because I feel like it's important for me to be here. You know, I moved to Blue Island, first generation to buy a house for my daughter to be safe. My daughter walked to school all year in the city. Moved to the suburbs, they told me, your daughter be safer. Moved to the suburbs, they care more than the city. I moved my daughter here. My daughter's in a coma, man. Like, after I hear about all these kids, why did it take my daughter for me to be here, anybody? Something has to change. My daughter's fighting for her life. You know, I came here for a better life. I didn't come to Blue Island to bury my child, man. This is my baby, my firstborn daughter. You know how hard it is for me to look at her and tell her, brothers and sisters, the fact that she pushed her brothers and sisters off the way, it took a hit like this for me to know that I'm on the telephone when my daughter's walking home and I hear her screaming and I'm thinking somebody's kidnapping her. And I said, oh my God, what's going on? I hung up the phone, I called the police station. Then a lady calls me from my daughter's cell phone and tells me, no, your daughter got ran over by a car. My daughter was excited. I don't know what needs to happen. I don't know about the other parents. I don't know if us parents got to come out there on our days off and stand on all those corners, because that's what we do in the city, in Chicago, where I'm from. We do it for free. I don't know if I could just get a stop sign. If I got to stand in that corner every day, if I got to get a babysitter, have my wife, but something got to change. That's a playground. That's a summer camp. That's a priority. It's too dark. I'm just here speaking of my daughter and the rest of these kids. Now, when I leave the house and go to the hospital, I sit on the corner just to watch these kids and make sure they make it across safe. My kids don't want to go that way. My daughter got 6 months to a year, diagnosed with DAI. Don't know when she's going to wake up. Just bought a house. Don't know if I'm going to afford to have it because my daughter comes first. I don't have the kind of job that I can just stay at home. It's either I go to work or lose it. But do I lose my daughter or go to work? She was just crossing the street from school. My firstborn. I just asked everybody to put themselves in all of our positions and help me understand something. Help me understand something. Whether if it got to come out of our pockets, my money's in my pocket. I'll pay. Whatever I got to do. I moved here for a better life. I didn't move here to put my daughter in a coma. Off of one corner that over 7 kids, other kids, I'm hearing people in the hospital tell me, that's not the first time. I used to live over there. Someone's always getting hit on that corner. Why does it take so many people to die? So many parents and so many kids. My kids' friends in school texting my daughter shaking. Why does it take that long? It should have never got this far. But God has his plan, and maybe Lanaya is the example. And that's the way I have no choice but to swallow. So I just asked it. Somebody do something, man. If it was your kid, you'll know. But it was our kids. That's all I gotta say.
Hello, my name is Stephanie Zaragoza. I'm a junior at Dwight D. Eisenhower High School. It's nice seeing some familiar faces, you know, since I feel I have a little bit of hope, maybe, just maybe, something will get done. I'm Blue Island born and raised. Growing up, I've heard about people getting hit all around Blue Island, not just 127th Street, but this one really does hurt. Because me and a few of my friends were in the play, and we encouraged others like Lanaya or Yaya, because that's what our friends called her, we'll call her, to go to the play. Because she is a very active student in the community. she was in show choir. And I was not close to Yaya, but, you know, I heard her. I heard her sing, I heard her laugh, I heard her talk. I saw her, she is very vibrant, just a wonderful girl all around. And when I heard right after I got off stage on closing night that she got hit, well, that someone got hit, I know me and along with my other classmates and friends, we felt very guilty. And I know I felt very guilty throughout the weekend. And when I heard it was Yaya, someone that I knew, it hurt. I know the day I went back to school, it was really hard to go back to class and not think of her and not like go around and trying to be really happy when knowing that someone so happy is in critical condition and hearing horrible things from like her sisters. It was just really, really bad all around. And I don't know what we can do, but I know that this has gone on for way too long. And we have been trying to do something for so long. Like since I was a kid, there has been children getting hit, and I want to work with the city to do something, to contact IDOT, because we have to do something. And I know we need a stoplight, and I know we can't get that right now, because obviously it takes time. But we need something in the meantime, like a stop signs, flashing lights, police, something just to make us feel safe, because I know I've grown up here my whole life, but I don't feel safe anymore. Seeing kids younger than me, children getting hit. I feel responsible, and I know I shouldn't feel guilty or responsible, but I do. So maybe seeing familiar faces, if you can please do something. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Serena Kledzik, and I'm a teacher at Eisenhower High School. I'm also the director of the play that when I came to see on Friday. I did not know her personally, but Shania, who got hit by a car 7 months ago, was my student. And that phone call is the worst phone call you will ever get as an educator. To be told that your student has died or your student has been hit by a car. I have never lost a student before, and it is something that has changed me. They pulled me from class on Monday because my play students were so distraught. And I sat with them, and it was incredibly difficult to sit with teenagers and not have an answer for them, as to not be able to explain to them why this keeps happening, or how many more students do we have to lose or see get injured. I was afraid to come here tonight because I'm afraid to drive in Blue Island. I live in Alsip, I'm not that far, but I'm literally petrified to drive in this town because I don't know it very well. And I, as a parent, can't even imagine what these poor families are going through. But I came tonight because it's important for me to support my students and to be here and to tell you that I cannot receive another phone call about one of my students. All of us in the play felt terribly guilty that this poor girl was coming to an extracurricular activity. And I just explained to them that I too, as an adult, felt guilty, and all we can do is try to make a change. That's all we can do. And so I believe that this is the first step. One of my students made a flyer, and we photocopied it, and we hung it in the building, and we passed it out amongst the students. But something has to be done. When you go to school to be a teacher, they don't tell you how to prepare for this. I can teach students how to read and how to write, but I don't know how to do this. And so all I know how to do is support them and to support their family, because we cannot keep doing this as a community. Thank you.
Hello, My name is Ellis Prince, and I'm a freshman at Dwight Eisenhower School. I wasn't gonna come to speak today, but seeing how many people showed up just shows how dedicated Lanaya is to our school and our community. She was so smart and so vibrant and bubbly, but despite that, it doesn't even matter. I mean, compared to all the other kids in the school, she just becomes another number. How many mourning parents do you have to face to do anything? How many students do you have to see for you to do something? That intersection is dangerous. The streets are dangerous. How are parents supposed to send students to school worrying for their life? When you send your kids to school, you're supposed to be safe. It's supposed to be a place where you can enhance in life, not end it.
My name is Anna Carbajal. I'm Melissa's mom. I'm a ER trauma nurse and a former student at Eisenhower High School. I am the person that has to tell parents all the time that they lost their child. That's me. When I go to work, I try everything I can to help to save that child. What hurts me the most is children. After a while, you get used to everything, but children hurt the most. When I get home, I ask myself, why? So when I heard about this and found out this was not the first time, not the second time, and not the third time, I'm just saying how everybody else, we're all asking ourselves the same question. How many more times do we gotta go through this?
Good evening. I'm Jane Healy. I am a resident, longtime resident of Blue Island, and I know many of you for many years. Candace, you live right near this intersection. Rhiannon and Fred, you both have been on the Park District Board, and you know for years how we've had issues with this intersection at Highland and 127. Some improvements have been done over the years. The sidewalks that were added to the north side of the street in front of the Napleton car dealership, that was a big game changer for this community. That really helped. Widening the intersection and putting a signalized crossing that was more pedestrian friendly at Maple and 127th was an improvement. Part of that was because Blue Island has an active transportation plan that prioritizes pedestrians and prioritizes the use of cycles, bicycles, because we live in a community that has very old roots. And one of the pleasures and joys about living in Blue Island is that you can actually walk where you need to go. You can walk to your schools. For a long time, we could walk to the hospital. You can still walk to your doctor's and dentist office. You can walk to the train station. You can walk to your grocery store. You can walk to the restaurants. That is one of the strengths of this community. And I think it's one of the things that sometimes we don't build off of or advertise more, but that's what makes this community a community and makes us special. It's one of the things that really highlights that. This is a community that is very pedestrian friendly, that encourages people to be out in their yards, encourages people to be part of the community. I think my concern is that there have been some solutions that are out there. A federal safe routes to school grant just closed. The application just closed October 1st. That's a grant that provides up to $200,000 for pedestrian enhancements in parks and schools. They've expanded the policy. Originally used to only be for grade schools. Now it encourages for high school use as well. So there are funds that are available. We didn't apply for that. We didn't use that. I don't know why we didn't participate in that, but certainly for the next round of funding, that's 100% funded grant. There's no match for it, no match at all. So it's not like Blue Island has to come up with its portion of the money to get that accomplished. We have an active transportation plan. Anytime IDOT does changes, they are required to meet that. It's a legal document that we have on file. We made it, what, 7, 8 years ago? We have that and we can use it as a leverage, right? I myself was hit and had a very bad accident at the intersection of, I think it's Minnesota. It's right by where the intersection by the Salvation Army is, right at 127. I was put out for 6 months. I was in a hospital bed for 3 months. Destroyed my knee, had to have it rebuilt. Okay, that's just one example of that stretch that runs between it's not Pulaski, I'm drawing a blank now, Kedzie, and between Western. It's a heavily trafficked intersection. We have probably 400 to 500 kids that access that by foot who are getting to and from Eisenhower on both sides of the street. And yes, we have an intersection that's at Maple and 127, but that's not how kids think. Kids don't think, oh, I'm going to go 2 blocks out of my way to go through a crosswalk to get to the park so I can play. They don't think that to go to the skate park or to go to the sledding hill or to go to the swimming pool or to do any of the activities that they do at that wonderful park that we have. So we do need to be strategic, and I'm encouraging the city. We have tools that are available to us, and we need to leverage those tools. That active transportation plan, we can slap that in the face of IDOT and say to them, you need to address this. We've had 3 major accidents, 3 critical injuries that have happened in this intersection in the past 7 months. Things need to change. Now, I know that there's a big backstory, traffic patterns have changed. There's more distracted drivers. People are speeding a lot. Post-COVID, there's all sorts of data that says people are going a lot faster and there's a lot more cars on the road right now. But that intersection has been a problem for years, decades. We've had issues with it. It's unsafe, and yet it is a primary destination for so many people in this community. And we have to do better. I think we can be very strategic. I think there's many things we can do, but I think we need to start immediately by having more of a police presence and enforcement. It's not just speeding, it's just people not paying attention. I think if we had more presence, that would help. But I really encourage you all to be thoughtful about this. It doesn't have to cost us a lot of money to make a real difference in our community. And you can see how traumatizing this is. I think if we pull the data, I think we'll find a whole lot of people. There's ways to find that. There's ways to find that data. We've got a lot of people injured at that intersection, not just the ones we know about in the last few months. So I encourage you all to be thoughtful about this and to take it seriously and to investigate all of our options, because I think we have solutions that we can do. And I hope that there is impetus and goodwill and people have the forethought to say, this is a priority. This needs to be addressed sooner rather than later. Thank you.
Thanks, Jane. Any other public comment?
I'm Lena Vasquez's mother. You know how hard it is to be on the phone with my daughter. We always pick our kids up from school, but this night we couldn't because we were in a wedding the night before. We were supposed to be in a wedding on Saturday, and we were at wedding rehearsal at church. So I didn't know she was going to come home at that time. So she calls me after the play, and I'm like, all right, Lena, walk me through your steps. And she tells me, okay, Mom, I passed the first track, passed the second track. I made it to the park. Mind you, my 2 other kids that are 13 years old already crossed that street and were waiting for her on that corner. And she's like, all right, Mom, I'm gonna cross the street. And all I hear is screaming. Screaming. You could hear the scream from where I was at. That's how bad the scream was. It was my other daughter, because she's so traumatized right now. What happened to her sister? She was screaming from the top of her lungs and screaming for help. And to me at this point, I'm thinking my daughter's getting kidnapped or something. I'm already on the expressway, and I tell my husband, go, I don't care, just drive, make it there. literally made it there like in 3 minutes. That's how fast we were going because we were scared for our daughter. My other daughter's phone starts coming in on the other line. My husband's calling the police on his phone. And his mom was on the phone, and it was a pedestrian because my daughter couldn't talk. And the pedestrian tells me that my daughter got hit by a car. And I didn't know what to do. I just lost it after that. As soon as we make it to the scene, I ran out the car and I ran 2 blocks down to find my daughter inside the ambulance, and I couldn't even go inside of the ambulance because of COVID. So in my mind, I'm thinking, what the hell is going on? They say they're taking her to the hospital. We make it to the hospital, and I still don't know what's going on with my daughter. So I'm just sitting there having anxiety, throwing up, crying because my daughter got hit by a car and I don't know what's going on. Finally, when they put me and my husband in the room, they tell us that my daughter is diagnosed with DAI. That she's fighting. She's fighting to get out of this. She's fighting to stay alive. My daughter's a fighter. If you see my daughter, she has goals, and she's not going to leave this earth this easy. She's fighting to come back to us. But it's hard for us to see her that way. To look at my daughter every single day in the bed, and that's not her right now. You never, like, you hear the stories where it happens to you, other people, but when it happens to you, you're like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. Every day I can't even plan to see like what I have to do. I gotta be in the hospital with my daughter. I got 3 other kids at home. My husband is going through it. My husband has to be out of work. And then when he's at work, I have to tell him how things going on in the hospital. Something needs to happen because this is serious. We just moved to this town in June for this to happen to my daughter. I thought she was safe coming here. I thought this town was safe for her. And to me, it's even worse because I have 2 8th graders that go to veterans. So they'll be going to Eisenhower and having to cross those streets too. So I can't work because I gotta take them to school because I'm scared for their lives and I'm scared for hers. There could be a possibility that she might not come out of it. But we're praying to God every day that she comes back to us as soon as possible. Like I said, they're giving us the ultimatum 6 months up to a year. And even that, my daughter has to go to physical therapy to learn to walk and talk again. And she's going to be like a baby again. You know how much stress that's on me and my husband? We need to do a change here because these kids, they can also be hurt by this. So please listen to us. This is not easy. Thank you.
Any other public comment? If none, I'll read a statement and then we'll take a small recess. The tragic incidents around Eisenhower High School. The main point I want to convey to the students, teachers, and parents, both here tonight and watching from home, is we hear you. And we are going to do everything possible that we can do to prevent further terrible accidents like the ones we've seen over the past few months. As a father and a teacher, I never want to get the phone call like you've expressed tonight. I'm sure I speak for the whole council when I say our hearts are heavy with you and we're going to take action. As we discussed in previous meetings, our police department has already taken some proactive measures, including changing traffic patterns and creating a safer traffic flow. However, we are planning to invest in new flashing lighting and makes drivers more aware of pedestrians. Immediately after the most recent incident, we sent a letter to the Secretary of Illinois Department of Transportation, which owns the road, as well as 3 state legislators that serve our city, asking them for their assistance and cooperation in helping Blue Island put an end to these pedestrian accidents. IDOT has final authority over any physical changes to the street. and we make the road itself so that we do not need to impress upon the state this is a priority and we need to make action. We pulled records. A lot of you I know the circumstances that you mentioned tonight. I've read the reports going back 10 years. With that in mind, I ask all of us, the city, District 218, parents and students, work together and advocate together to address this very real problem that we have in the city. Thank you, and I'm going to call for a short recess. going to call the meeting back to order. If the council doesn't mind, I'd like to move to number 5, the proclamation. Move to number 5 on the agenda.
Also public comment.
I ended public comment, but go ahead.
I'm sure a lot of praying to do. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being up here this time. Really appreciate it. I loathe coming up here. I loathe it. I wish our government was running so smoothly that no citizens would ever come up here. Under the ordinance 2021, with the C1 commercial district special use permit, I was able to attend the planning zoning. And it wasn't revealed who the investors are. It wasn't revealed. We need to know who the investors are, who they are from New Jersey, who they are. That's what the public would like to know, who the investors are. I'm asking the city council to table this motion for tonight. Another reason to table, everyone knows that cannabis dispensary is a lucrative business. The city of Blue Island is in the golf business. They're in the water business. Why not have their own dispensary? I haven't heard of any communities having it, but just a thought. In our city, located at property perhaps 119th and 119th Street, it could be a catalyst for the development of that area. And all the profits should go to the firemen and the police pension funds. They're $1 million in arrears, millions of dollars. And the rest go to build the streets. How can we make money for our funds? Any news on the legislative council for the 4 independent aldermen? What is Bob's position on this? I really hope you consider table, consider that thought. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? If not, I'll move to the proclamation. Number 5, Ms. Teresa Schultz. We have a proclamation for Teresa Schultz celebrating her 100th birthday. Whereas the city of Blue Island resident Teresa Schultz was born on October 16th, 1921, and will be turning 100 years old on October 16th, 2021. And whereas Teresa Schultz has been a lifelong resident in the city of Blue Island, and attended St. Benedict's School and Blue Island High School. And whereas Teresa Schultz married Robert Schultz and is the mother of 4 children, a grandmother to 8 children, and a great-grandmother to 9 children. Whereas Teresa Schultz was an active member of the Blue Island community and worked as a nurse at St. Francis Hospital, and upon retirement continued to volunteer for over 40 years. Whereas the mayor and the aldermen for the city of Blue Island wish to celebrate the life of Teresa Schultz and wish her the happiest of birthdays for her 100th birthday on October 16th. And be it resolved that the mayor and aldermen for the city of Blue Island, on behalf of themselves and the entire community, extend their sincere congratulations to Teresa Schultz for her 100th birthday and wish her many more years of health and happiness. Now, therefore, I, Fred Bellato, mayor of the city of Blue Island, and the Blue Island city aldermen do hereby proclaim 100th birthday to Teresa Schultz. And I need a motion. A motion by Alderman Johnson, second by Alderman McGee. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you. And I'll invite whoever wants to accept.
I was born and raised in Blue Island. My mom and dad came from Italy. I've worked at St. Francis in Blue Island as an RN for 45 years. After that, I went into volunteering at St. Francis Hospital for 35 years. So I've spent many years at St. Francis Hospital, and that's the only name I really like to say because I thought the hospital was run very efficiently by the nuns. God bless them for taking care of so many people in Blue Island and also in the suburbs. So I've spent most of my time in the nursing profession, which I have loved my whole life. Thank you very much for my proclamation, and God bless everybody.
All right, moving back up to the agenda, we need a motion for approval of payroll for October 1st, 2021, in the amount of $388,261.14.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Alderman Rita, is there a second? Alderman Roll, any questions? Please roll.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Fairwell.
Aye.
Alderman Rita.
Aye.
Alderman Montoya.
Aye.
Alderman McGee.
Aye.
Alderman Carr.
Aye.
Alderman Roll.
Aye.
7 ayes, Your Honor.
Motion carries. Next, we have a motion to approve accounts payable in the amount of $508,804.51. There's some large ones in here. Is there a motion? Motion by Alderman Fairwell, is there a second? Alderman Montoya, any questions? Questions by Alderman Fairwell?
Just one, something of a question of, again, Mark was very helpful in answering a number of questions I had prior to the meeting. Appreciate that. KCLF Enterprises on page 8, we're paying them $27,300 to demolish the old Western building at Western, at Old Western, and good things to see it go. Mark explained to me that this money is coming out of TIF 6. My question was, does the previous owner have no responsibility in this?
We're in court. We got a lien for foreclosure against the property.
Okay, thank you very much.
And we received, I believe, 3 bids, and that was the lowest of the 3.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Just on a side note, I think they did a great job. They've even been down there. The grass is already growing down there. I can't believe it. That's how fast. And hopefully, if we take ownership eventually, we can market it and something can be built there. Please do the roll.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Fairwell.
Aye.
Alderman Rita.
Aye.
Alderman Montoya.
Aye.
Alderman McGee.
Aye.
Alderman Carr.
Aye.
Alderman Roll.
Aye.
7 ayes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And just a side note, the top of the building was salvaged and it's at Public Works for whatever we decide to use it in the future, if we do anything with it. Number 3, we have an ordinance of the City of Blue Island, County, Illinois, granting a special use permit for Island Time LLC to operate within the C1 district. I know I watched the planning and zoning. They're checking off all the boxes. They're not asking for any variance. So I need a motion.
I'll make a
Motion
motion.
by Alderman Reed, is there a second? Second by Alderman Montoya on the question. Alderman Fairwell.
Thank you. I have several questions and concerns, and I am going to move to table it. I know that there's no discussion allowed after a motion to table. So I'm gonna bring those up. Yes.
I can, there's a couple things. I can ask them to answer any questions. I can open up for questioning. The owners are here. They have a time limit. It's a very strict time limit for the state of Illinois by the license. And I don't want to table unless we really, really have to. So if they can answer any questions. It's not our time limit, it's the state of Illinois.
Okay, appreciate that they're under a time limit, but I would also have to say that, you know, our responsibility is to make sure that things get done in a proper order. The right way to have done this would have been to bring it up to committee of the whole tomorrow, and then it could have been discussed, and there's some issues here that I think are not going to get answered tonight, and resolve those issues, and then it could have been brought to our city council 2 weeks from now. Some of the things that concern me are, you know, frankly, this is a significant and potentially very good development for the city, and I'm not opposed to it. But there are things that do concern me. I'm all in the fourth ward there. I was away during the hearings, so I could not have attended. But I do think, and I'm disappointed that I was, you know, as alderman, was not alerted to this meeting. I was not aware of that hearing. I could have sent someone in my behalf had I known, because I think that this is a significant enough development that it's important that the alderman, and it's not just applying to fourth ward, but anywhere something like this would happen, that the alderman should be, you know, involved in the process. Later this evening, Howard forwarded us some additional information, which looks valuable. I haven't had time to review it, and I can't do it before we vote. I am concerned about possible traffic congestion issues there. I don't know whether the concerns are valid or not, but I don't think those are going to be settled tonight. I too would like to make sure we know who the owner. I understand that the family is involved in this, but I'd like to, you know, make sure we do know on the record what the various ownership interests are in the establishment. And I would like to say that I voted in favor of combining zoning and planning commissions because I did agree that a more efficient process was important. But I don't think that means that you know, we just kind of rush things through, and this feels awfully darn rushed for something that's this important. So that is why I am going to, and I guess I will now move to table.
Quickly before. Mike, I share your concerns actually with regards to the traffic. I read that they had done a study and it was a 2% increase in traffic. That's right on 127 with the current issues that we're currently facing with Eisenhower. I don't think that, and again, this is my opinion, that this location is the right location for marijuana. Is a big business, and it you know, we're going to have more people crossing 127, possibly from Beggars to back and forth, because I know they do have a large parking lot there as well, and I just see it as a potential risk being at that location.
Alderman Rita?
Was that addressed at the planning and zoning? I thought I saw that in Howard's.
It was.
report.
I'd like to, because otherwise it's just tomorrow night, and I don't want to waste anybody's time. And even if they have to, they can come tomorrow night too. But I'd like to ask Howard to give a brief statement, and then the owners to give a brief statement, and hopefully can answer some of these questions. Otherwise, we'll go through it tomorrow night anyway. So Howard, would you like to come up here? Or the owners? My office received 2 phone calls from the registered mail. It was $14 a letter, I guess. Resident on Prairie Street, and resident and lived in an apartment on Western Avenue. Both were fine with the question, the answers I gave them, but they didn't do notification that was above and beyond what we're asking them. And I know the investors have to be disclosed in the state application. I believe they were submitted to planning and zoning, so that should answer that question.
Hello, my name is Larry Guerrero. I will know most of you, I think most of you. Anyway, I'm the one that kind of organized this group together, this team that I call a team. And I wanted full control over the first license we got. We got 2, and we applied for 2, started 2 years ago. And my dream was to have it in Blue Island. So I developed a team from the south side, couple from Beverly Morgan Park, couple from Blue Island. And we had a partner with a national chain who was a minority owner in it. This is very important to me to bring to Blue Island. It's exciting new times. I think it's important to revitalize or help revitalize. I'm working on a lyric trying to get that revitalized. I'm trying to do this all for Blue Island, and I want to do it the best way possible. I didn't want somebody else from, like you say, out of state come here and put their place in. I wanted a local guy that knows the area, knows who to support. We're committing 2% to charities in the town. This is an important business to bring people into town, see how great a town we have. I think Blue Island, I've been a Blue Islander most of my life, born at 127th Western. Most of you guys don't know there was a Jewel there. There was a house there before Jewel. I was born in that house. So, I mean, I'm a longtime Blue Islander. I'm doing what I think is, and I'm making sure this is the best way. Everything is safe. Everything's done the right way. The city has done a great job with their ordinance, making sure we crossed all the Ts, dotted all the Is. They worked hard with us. We spent hours and hours, months doing this. It's a 2-year project. I'm proud to bring this to Blue Island. And I don't think the traffic, we had traffic study done. It's like 1 block off of 127, so it's at the other end of the, so it's not really on 127. It's a big concern. I have a hard time crossing 127 myself.
Yeah.
So I mean, traffic was a problem. We made sure we had enough parking, so we won't have people blocking the street. We've done everything the city has asked for, and they had a great ordinance drawn up for this. We've applied in a couple other cities. This town has done the job right, so I don't think you guys have to worry about rushing into this. It's been a 2-year project. We've been working with the city for a long time. We started this with the old mayor. We're with the new mayor now. I want to do what's best for Blue Island. And our team is very strong, and they got the best people I could find. And don't worry about Mr. Stevo. Most of us are from the south side. So if that's your concern, we're here, okay? We're here to protect this town and you and everybody in this town. So that's all I really want to say. I'm sorry I'm so emotional, but I really love Blue Island, okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor. I'm Erica Kirkwood. I'm speaking on behalf of myself as well as Cornelius Griggs, who is the majority partner in the Island Time LLC. We understand your concerns about ownership, and we want to let you know that we are a minority. We're a Black, African-American majority owned company. Our partners here, we formed this wonderful, what we call a dream team, to bring this facility, which we know will be first.
Can you bring
class,
the mic down? So
which we know will be first class to Blue Island. The Gretel family is here. Cornelius Griggs is born and raised on the west side of Chicago, Cabrini Green neighborhood, born and raised. He was raised in foster care from the time he was 6 years old. I've known him for over 20 years. He owns a very wonderful construction company, which I'm the general counsel of, GMA Construction Group, and we will be doing all of the interior build out to the facility. We will be creating jobs, bringing jobs to Blue Island. We have hiring goals for our company, and it's minorities, it's women, and it's veterans. Mr. Griggs is a veteran. He served 2 tours overseas in Doha, Qatar, and so many other things. If you meet him, he'll tell you all about them. But he is a dedicated veteran. And when we partnered up with the Gretel family as well as our national partner, Ianthus, it was very important to us that we were partnering with a very experienced operator. Ianthus is here. They will talk to you. They are in operation in 9 states. They've been doing this for a while. They have been very successful. They're looking to bring that to Blue Island, and we want to bring that to Blue Island as well. We want to address your concerns around the traffic study. We did have that done by KLOA, who was a very well-known traffic study company, and they said that there was 2% traffic generation. Hearing the concerns tonight about 127th Street, we really do share their sentiments and offer our sincere prayers to them. This facility is actually on 12720. So we have enough parking where people will not have to cross 127th Street in order to get to our dispensary. So we have thought about things like that. Having people who were born and raised here in Blue Island, we're thinking about things that people from outside the community might not be thinking of. I'm a resident of Beverly, and I'm always in Blue Island, whether it's shopping or whether it's just hanging out with friends. And we see this as a venture that's not only going to give 2% back to philanthropic organizations in Blue Island, but we will be bringing other people to Blue Island, not only to shop, but to buy their groceries, to get, cigarettes and to party and have a great time here as well. So we will be generating significant financial income to the community. We have furnished everything that we were supposed to in the special use application. So I just wanted to address that concern. And then I think there was also one concern about parking, which I think we addressed. We have over 74 spots for parking. So that shouldn't be an issue as well. We're here to answer your questions. And now I'm going to turn it over to our partner, Ianthus, to talk a little bit about their experience and why we're bringing a first-class facility here to Blue Island.
Good evening. Nice to meet you. I am fortunately not from the south side of Chicago, but I'm from Philadelphia, and I feel like I'm an honorary South Sider after spending 2 years with the Greto family. As Erica mentioned, Ianthus operates 75 dispensaries in 9 different states. And this venture will have a minority interest. We were brought into the venture to offer expertise in the cannabis business, to offer support in selecting locations. We believe the location we selected here is paramount for safety and security. We submitted a 65-page security plan in the state of Illinois that I believe was addressed in last week's meeting. We believe that the location will actually make the neighborhood safer, offer additional lighting. We'll have security guards locally. As Erica mentioned, we'll create jobs, tax revenue. And we're not looking for an approval, we're looking for a partnership. This is a situation where I think it's great for this town. We selected Blue Island based on the Greto family and their passion and commitment to this city with Beggar's Pizza chain. We're excited and look forward to working with you all. So happy to answer any questions or address any concerns that you may have.
I appreciate that. And I have to say, the fact that this has been under development for 2 years and the first I heard about it was this weekend is not your fault. But why the city didn't let us know earlier. It puts us in a difficult position, or actually an impossible position, unfortunately. I have not even had a chance to read all the documents that Howard Perry provided to us. Mr. Guerrero has been a great, boon to this town, and I have nothing but high regard for him and his family. But our responsibility on city council is to act after we have reviewed full information and full understanding of what's going on, and I'm not in that position tonight. That's just all there is to it.
Do you have any questions?
I have to read. There's a lot of documentation I need to read. Then I would have questions. I could ask you questions now. I don't even know, frankly, what questions I ought to be asking. It's not a good position for me to be in.
All right, the question I have, this was never, you didn't ask for any variance, correct? No. You're following the code that we approved as a city council last year. So they didn't have to come to us to this point, just the application. They're not asking for any variance at all.
Why do we have to grant one then?
Because we wrote it in that we wanted to be notified of the application. Otherwise, it's just another step. Well, if they were asking for parking or other variances, then yeah, it would go through the whole process. But this is just, it's almost like a notification. They're not asking for any variance.
Well, again, why are we voting on it?
Because we put it in the ordinance that we wanted to be notified.
Well, there you go. I'm not going to vote on something when I don't. With all respect, this may very well be a really good idea. Lots of things you've said sound great, but I'm just not going to vote on this thing. There's no way.
Alvin, I think Alvin Roll had a question.
Yes, sir. Question. Can anybody speak to the deadline you're operating under? What is that deadline? What are the criteria that you need to meet for?
So our state deadline is we have to identify a location. My apologies. Our deadline is we have to identify a location within 6 months of the conditional award.
So where are we on that timeline?
So our timeline, we have to identify this location by January.
And so if we were to put this decision off by a few weeks, does that threaten the whole project?
So, and respectfully, Alderman,
we have to identify the location. So just like you go to other cities, we have to go through a process there, and it takes several months. So if we're vetting different locations, if we don't get the approvals that we need, then we have to go to scout other locations. So that's why it's a fair time crunch. Any other questions?
Howard? We're gonna do it tomorrow, probably. I just know that we're not the only town they're thinking to vote.
Right.
That's my underlying issue. I'll let Howard talk.
Hello, everyone. Howard Kapari here, the originator of the staff report, 20 pages of it. Cornelius Griggs, he filled out an affidavit, and this is a copy of the affidavit. This is one of the requirements from letters A as in apple through V as in Victor in this new ordinance that deals with cannabis, so I could pass this around.
And Howard, just to clarify it, so it's not only me saying it, are they asking for any variance outside of our code?
They're asking for no variances. They're only applying for a special use. So let me speak a little bit about the application, the process last Thursday, and why we're here tonight. So the city council last year passed ordinance 2020-010, which was the cannabis ordinance that created this mechanism to review applications for, let's say, a dispensary, for an infuser, transportation, or craft grower. So the managing director, Mr. Cornelius Griggs, with the Goretto family and other people, investors of this company, applied for a special use. I want to say more than a month ago. You know, because of the planning and zoning process, I have to advertise it in the newspaper no later than 30 days, no closer than 15. And as part of the Cannabis Ordinance 2020-010, there were 3 mechanisms for advertising, and all 3 of them were met. The first one was the newspaper article. I created the newspaper article. I had our legal team review it just in case if there was any errors. That went out to the newspaper, and I have copies of the physical newspaper article, how it was advertised in the Daily Southtown. The second one was the zoning sign. I personally placed the zoning sign on the building on the same day that the newspaper advertisement went out, which was a Monday. I also put it there. I photographed. It's in my staff report. You'll see the sign. And then the third one, which was an extra part of it, was for the applicant to notify the abutters 250 feet from the property line, which they did. I have the list right there of all the people that were notified. And we did have people that come here. They came here last Thursday that received the abutter notification. Personally, I never received a phone call, an email, or anyone at the building department encounter having questions about the cannabis ordinance. So that's my personal experience on this matter. Now, the cannabis ordinance is going to go at the former site of the Borough Television Sales and Repair Facility, which is located at 12720 Western Avenue, right? So it's a multi-tenanted building. There are 2 other retailers, and there's an apartment that's currently vacant. So the cannabis is going to occupy the main portion of the building. One of the criteria of this ordinance that was passed last year, that the cannabis adult use dispensing organization can be no bigger than 5,000 square feet. So their facility is at 4,641 square feet. So they're less than what's required by code. What the code said was for an adult use cannabis dispensary, it had to meet the parking requirements for the city of Blue Island, which is which the ordinance said retail. So the retail calculation is 300 square feet for every one parking space that's generated for that gross amount. So it comes out to 15.5. I rounded up to 16 parking spaces. So the physical retail component of this project only generates 16 parking spaces per zoning for parking. Now, part of this criteria of this ordinance was they needed to generate a traffic impact study, which they did. They contacted KLOA Incorporated to create their traffic impact study. In their traffic impact study, they looked at different criteria: people driving, where are they going to park, and the traffic. Like in my staff report I mentioned, it's going to be not that substantial, the traffic that's going to appear at this facility. The report says possibly 50 customers per day. Might go up in the future, but we're not sure for now. So minimal impact during the weekday morning where people might come and buy cannabis. Now, the applicant has provided for 3 types of parking to be provided as close as possible. The first one is the actual parking lot that's adjacent to the cannabis, where it's going to be across the street from El Ranchitos, where they share it with 2 other retail tenants, right? Now,
And if I might just
yes, go ahead.
just ask, since you're going through this, that parking lot across from El Ranchito is already in a difficult place because the ingress and egress from the El Ranchito parking lot is backing in and out blindly onto Prairie Street. It's already a problem there. And we can talk about this till we're blue in the face tonight. I'm not going to vote for this tonight.
I understand they're Alderman. I just wanted, they're all here tonight anyway. I'm
That's
sure some of
fine.
these
No,
were.
We can do it.
Might as well have them explain while they're.
Okay.
So, like I was mentioning, they're providing for 3 different types of parking, right? And they provided an updated plan. This is the list of the abutters notification. I have the original application here. I brought it with me. What I'm distributing are copies. So the parking spaces, right? Remember, they have to at least meet 16 to meet the criteria for no parking variance. So at the revised parking document for the lot that's adjacent, that it's owned by the applicant, they could provide for 14 parking spaces. This is 14 for the cannabis, for the tattoo parlor shop, and for the check cash in place. The secondary, or what they call the main parking lot, is the one that was owned by the former nursing home, which has been demolished. With that parking, they could provide for another 32 parking spaces for cannabis. In the revised documents that they submitted, when you add 14 with 32, they're providing for 46 parking spaces. Keep in mind, 16 is what they need to provide. Then they have the overflow parking, which is famous cuts, which they could provide another 18 parking spaces. So when the applicant mentioned 74, they were counting the first parking, the main parking, the emergency parking, and parking on the street, which equals 74. The more realistic numbers I'm quoting are the ones that were submitted with Exhibit 15, which is mentioned in my staff report, 14 and 32. So they are providing for the parking. Now, in my staff report, I was very exhaustive in the way I would go over all the details. I went through letters A through B. So they're the first and only cannabis adult use dispensary that's applying for this application. The cannabis will not be located in a residential dwelling unit, which is one of the criteria. It's going to be in a building that's multi-tenanted. They provided a security plan. I provided a synopsis of 2 or 3 pages that goes into details. They can't provide us a better, more robust security plan because of security issues, but they gave us a good synopsis of what they're providing. There's going to be security cameras, there's going to be security guards, there's going to be people everywhere. There's going to be a place where people come in and where the employees come in to meet with them so they can pick out their cannabis. Everything is going to be regulated. Everything is going to be controlled for security purposes. Another criteria was the parking, which was done by a parking analysis. Keep in mind for other special uses, we don't ask for this. If it's a new project, I'll ask for it, but the ordinance required it and they provided that evidence. Then the parking, right? Which I went into greater detail, 16 parking spaces that have to be provided. They're providing that. They sent out the abutter notifications. They notified all the immediate businesses, homeowners, people leasing the property. They're located near no critical facilities per our ordinance. We also checked off with that requirement. In relationship to the parking, this gets even more interesting. The property is located in a C1. According to the zoning ordinance, this is the only zone in our city that does not mandate or require parking. It's one of those zones that, oh, if you have a business, you're fine if you don't meet the parking criteria. However, this ordinance 2020-010 supersedes that. They said you have to provide for parking, which they are. So they're going over and beyond the parking that's required. The parking plan, that's still being worked on. In my staff report, I mentioned as a condition which the Planning and Zoning Board of Appeals upheld, that they have to comply with Chapter 150, which is the Building Construction Code, which talks about the physical construction of the parking lot. And then Chapter 163, which is landscaping and fencing, which is our engineering requirements, right? Street trees, natural grass, drainage, security, fencing, lighting, what have you. They provided some information on this. And, you know, in the perfect world, yes, I would like to see a civil site plan done by a professional engineer. However, I, as the rest of, you know, the city administration, realize that they have a crunch, right? They have to get this out because if not, they could open the doors for someone else applying within that time frame that they're asking about, that they have to succeed. So what I said in my staff report, I said, you know, we'll follow it up with the building department, the building permit process. And I think they're open to having a phasing process, right? Phase 1, phase 2. So my staff report, the information was provided to the Planning and Zoning Board of Appeals, the PZBA. And, you know, I copied our administration and the communication. In the past, I haven't done it with planning and zoning. It was always the planning commission and the former zoning board of appeals. But in this one, I copied all of the members, Mayor Tom Wogan, Mark Pataska. So everybody was given ample time. They were given a week. I usually do my communications 1 week or weekend before the actual hearing. So the actual hearing took place last Thursday, right? We started at 6:30. We gave an extra half hour to hear this case. And there were people speaking for and against it. Now, please keep in mind, the PZBA approved it unanimously, 6-0. And they had the same concerns you guys have as a city council. Parking, security, you know, questions were brought up. Do they need a variance for parking? The answer was no. Our attorney, the city's attorney, Ryan Morton, went through the findings of fact, line by line, asked the planning and zoning board member, point blank, how do you feel about this? Each one. So there were no issues that were raised by the Planning and Zoning Board of Appeals. So like I mentioned, it was approved 6-0, and it's being forwarded to the city council. I took it upon myself to be here and to provide a copy of my staff report. You have to understand, this is a new administration, new policies, I take it. Could I have provided you a copy of my staff report early in time? Yes. But I'm going through the proper channels. I'm trying to be delicate about this issue. You know, moving forward, like they say at the federal government, lessons learned in the process. Maybe, you know, there needs to be maybe another review process or what have you. But what I'm trying to say here is the PZBA felt it was comfortable without tabling it or asking for more information. So this is the reason why I'm here tonight.
Okay, Howard, we are so lucky to have you. You are an incredibly thorough and competent person. Everyone's probably fortunate that you're involved in this. It adds a lot of credibility to it. And so I won't put you on the spot to ask you a question I think I already know the answer to. But I know that if someone trusted to you, say me, came and put a big pile of papers in front of you and said, hey, I've looked this all through. It's okay. Trust me, sign it. You wouldn't do that. I know you wouldn't. And I'm not going to do it tonight.
Okay, and I understand. This is why I'm here tonight. I'll be here tomorrow. If anyone have any questions or concerns.
Just a quick one. Have you ever been to a dispensary?
Have I been to a dispensary?
Have you ever been to a dispensary?
Physically inside, no. But I've walked by many dispensaries in Chicago.
Okay.
I've looked at the
That's my only
operation from the exterior.
That's
My
only question.
interest is in the interior because I know they're going to do a fabulous job. For me as a planner is to look at the exterior. Are there people waiting? In the places that I passed by in Niles, in Chicago and other places, Mundelein, Illinois, I would look at if there's people waiting. At the beginning, on January 1st, last year, there were lots of people waiting. Today, there's really no one waiting, maybe one or two. People are escorted in and out effectively. I also look at parking, right? The one in Niles is located in a strip mall, so they have plenty of parking. In Mundelein, it's a regular parking lot. Here, they have their own parking lot. In Chicago, near where I live, Lawrence and Milwaukee, absolute no parking. Do I see a greater generation of cars? No. Most of the parking spaces are empty. So personally, that's what I'm looking at as the security of the exterior. Any other questions? Since I'm here.
Howard, thank you. I appreciate the diligence. I just want to reiterate, it didn't ask for a variance. We made a very stringent policy ordinance a year ago. Me and the former community development, we went through multiple hearings. We added the notification. We added the parking. Now, this is all above and beyond the state mandates, and they're checking off all the boxes. They could not apply for us, even though they've been working on this for a long time. They didn't get the state go ahead until less than a month ago.
Yes.
And they have that clock started as soon as they got it. It's not on the agenda for tomorrow night. I didn't think it was that we went through a big hearing to get the ordinance passed. They're checking all the boxes for the ordinance. So I didn't feel there was an issue to put it on the agenda for tomorrow night. I said, Howard, did I ask for any variance? He said, no, I said, put it on the agenda. They're not asking for any special use, any special circumstances. They're not asking us to abate or add anything in or subtract anything in. They're following what we put out there. All right. So at this point, it's like saying someone coming in for a license to open a barber shop, and then we change the rules once the application goes in. I don't want to phrase it like that, but that's what it sounds like we want to do right now. We want to change the rules once they've already checked off all the boxes. And I don't want to do that. So I wanted to get all the questions out of the way here. I think if they were asking for a variance, if they were possibly a company that weren't from town, then by all means, but I see no issue with it approving it. It's not them, it's going to be another company that doesn't have ties to the town. And once one comes in, there's probably not going to be another one because they usually have their territory like franchise. So that being said, any other questions for Howard before I appreciate him coming down? Alderman Johnson?
Yes. Not actually correct. But the question
I know a little bit about it, reading about cannabis industry. And I know about the timetables and the things they had to put up for it. And due to COVID, things move slower than it probably normally would have anyway. But because of this type of special use, I was just wondering if we give it like a 50-50, give them a okay contingent upon Alderman Fairwell and maybe Alderman McGee, maybe looking over it before we go to Cal tomorrow. And if everything is okay, if they had that time, that if there's nothing else.
It's not on the agenda. Alderman, I don't disagree. It's not on the agenda for tomorrow night. I don't want to go down a path of gray area. I like how we put stuff on the agenda, only talk about what's on the agenda, keeps us all organized and on task. So I know Alderman made a motion table. If we go through the process, there'd be a second for that. If not, I'd ask for a motion to approve. We can go through the motions, but then it won't go, it'll delay this project unless we call a special meeting, early November. I just see for anything, they're not asking for anything for us to concede. That is my issue. If they were asking for one thing to concede, then I would say, go through it with the process. They're not asking for anything. In fact, if we deny it and they're checking off all the boxes, I don't know where we go as a city then, because even me as a mayor, like I'm talking about in my mayor's comment, trying to get an ice cream parlor. I said, this is what you need to do. And when I bring it up to you guys to do a special use for an ice cream parlor, and then you need to change the rules, it's going to put me in a position where I don't want to advocate so much to bring business to town. So they're checking off every single box that we've added. And it was a very stringent process. If you remember the people that were on the council, we had 5 public hearings. We took everybody's situation, put them in an ordinance, made everybody happy, very stringent, and they checked off every single box. So that's why I feel this way, Alderman, and that's why it's different than other things, because they're not asking for the scratch off the parking like we have with other situations on Vermont Street. They're not asking for any of that. They're checking off all the boxes. Alderman?
I'm not sure if this is for Howard or did I understand you correctly that you are under a strict deadline and that you will go elsewhere?
Yes, we submitted our application 2 years ago, as you may have known. The state.
Just clarify, you submitted the application to the state. I want the
State
Alderman
2 years
thinking
ago.
we weren't sitting on an application.
There was significant litigation. These licenses were eventually awarded via lottery 2 months ago, 12-month deadline to get open. There's significant delays with construction as a result of COVID. If we don't receive approval, we may have no choice.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Otherwise, there's a motion table.
I'll second it.
And just keep in mind, this is a special use. In our city ordinance, what it says, a special use is pretty much already allowed. It just has to go through an extra criteria process. The traffic impact study, the site plan.
I understand that they've
circulation
met the
plan.
criteria, and I see, from what we've just heard about 127 and the traffic, this takes a little bit more consideration. We need a
Alderman,
little-
I disagree and agree at the same time with many issues. I try not to vote emotional situations. They're abiding by the code. So I agree with what you're saying.
I
disagree at the
understand
same
that,
time.
but and Alderman Fairwell also did bring up a good point. A lot of the people from El Ranchito, they back up. I've done it myself. It doesn't seem to be the right location, and it could mark all the boxes. Again, it just that is and with what Western turning into a one-way right there, I don't know. I think it requires more consideration.
We also, Howard, their main entrance is off 127th Street. The parking lot is owned by them currently.
Yeah.
The frontage on Western wouldn't be the main entrance, it'd be up 127th Street where they own the property already. So that would take care of that issue off Western Avenue.
Mayor, can I
Yes, go
address the El Ranchito?
Yeah.
Ray Cantel, longtime resident, partners, member of the team that's speaking. It's illegal to back up into a public right of way. Anywhere you read, anything you see. So that's something that the city needs to address. I don't know, in this meeting, outside the meeting, there will be no backing up onto public right of way or it would be stopped. Our attorneys wouldn't allow it. our lawyers wouldn't allow it, or I'm sorry, our lawyers wouldn't allow it, our insurance company wouldn't allow it, it's just not allowed.
What's
So
that?
something you-
They're not
It's, it
Johnny on
wouldn't,
the
it's not
spot.
you,
They're
it's
not
not your
Johnny on the
people.
spot.
No, but I'm saying,
All right.
I'm sorry,
I
but
wanna go back and forth.
So when we're discussing something, we gotta take other business out of it. That's not something that we have. We have ample space to back up on the property that's on the parcel. We have plenty of room to pull in, pull out, and the additional parking we have behind one.
I do understand this.
So, I mean, I'm
Just
sorry.
Can I just be clear?
Please.
My concern is the El Ranchito.
Has that, excuse me, Alderman, has that been addressed with them? As a city council, has that been addressed with El Ranchito? Has it been on the record?
I don't think so.
It's all, so I mean, I'm not here to defend them, argue with them. We're good neighbors. We want to help them. We want to do everything, work with them. Everyone that's come forward, we're here to help Blue Island. When you had a meeting a year and a half ago about your ordinance, you guys were thinking 3, 4, 5 people are going to be pounding on your door to bring it into your town. Look around. If they're not pounding a month and a half ago, they're not going to be pounding tomorrow.
Don't do this. Don't do this.
Excuse me, sir.
I don't want to be pressured.
I don't want to, but I'm just.
Both of your Alderman
Don't do this.
Contello, former Alderman Contello, Alderman Farnwell, you've said your piece, Alderman Contello. And then if you didn't know, Alderman Contello was an alderman, so he knows some of the process. That's why I'm addressing him like that. If you have anybody else to speak, I'll let somebody else speak. Mr. DeSvedo.
Just one last thing. Mr. Farnwell, I appreciate your kind words very much. And I know all you aldermen do a great job for the city. You want to do what's best for them. But I felt bad that you didn't know about it, so I did reach out to you. In late September, I called, left a message to call me. I called Mr. Roll. He called me back. He never called me back. I'm not blaming for you. You might have been on vacation. But I did think that you should know about this before the meeting. So yes, I tried to reach out to you and I did reach out to you. So I didn't want to surprise you because I was an elected official and all of a sudden I didn't want to be surprised either. So I understand you and I love your kind words and I love all the hard work you guys do for the city. The city is great because of you guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you. If anybody else, otherwise I'll cut it off. Unless there's anybody else, I'd like to move forward on this. Mr. DeSvedo.
Good evening, Pat DeSvedo, 12808 Elm Street. You know, guys, I don't get the politics for this very reason. I love this town, lifelong residents of this town. I want to see what's best for this town. I mean, for you guys to question Larry Doreto's motives and integrity is absolutely mind-boggling. I've known a guy for 40 years, and I can tell that. You know what this guy's done for this community? 2 Beggars Pizza, a commissary. His mother lives in town. He has 3 sisters who have houses in this town. His son lives in town. He gives to youth groups, gives more to Eisenhower High School. He's a Marist grad. He gives to Eisenhower High School. Do you think he would open up something in this town that wouldn't be a shining light for this community? I mean, there's parking concerns. He's going to take care of it. The other night, they're questioning his signage. Have you guys walked up and down Western Avenue and seen some of the signs in some of our businesses? Crooked, painted over awnings? And you're questioning this guy? If he has a deadline and you guys, whoever votes against it, lets this business get out of this town and go to another community, shame on you guys. Cut through the mumbo jumbo, the variances and everything else. Look at the man and what he's accomplished in his career as a person, his heart, his mind, what he's done for this town. No one's done more for this town. No one. You guys are threatening this business. I'm drug free. It's not my cup of tea. But some other town's going to get this. And Blue Island's going to be left behind again. Losing tax revenue. He's going to put a place that's going to be, it'll probably be the nicest place in town. And he's invested money in the lyric. You guys are Blue Island residents. Cut through the politics, the personal baloney. Look at the guy, what he's done. Look at his history. And look at this town. We need this. It's going to be beautiful, whether you walk in that door ever in your life or not. It's gonna be something other people are gonna come down into this town who's never been in Blue Island. Take a drive down Greenwood, take a drive down Maple. Maybe they like hey, this is a great town. They have a brewery. They have a craft beer bar. They've got a gay bar. They've got tattoo parlors. Let's be progressive. Let's think ahead. But this stuff where you guys are trying to play politics with this guy is total baloney. Look at the history. Thank you.
Mr. Steve, you already spoke. Is there something different that you already said?
It is quite a bit different. Howard said that nobody questioned it last night, Thursday night. That was wrong.
You did say that there was before and after.
Yes, he did. Commissioner Alexander, she questioned the parking, the traffic being backed up by Ranchito grocery store, and also the Cook County Health Facility there. A lot of traffic there, a lot of backup. She brought that up. Also, if the meeting last Thursday night would have been televised, a lot of these problems would have been addressed then, not now. I asked at that meeting for more transparency. It fell upon deaf ears. The lawyer wouldn't answer. We wanted to know who the investors were. It's important for our community to have transparency. It's important that we know who the investors are. I have no problem with the Reddos. I've known them basically all my life. They're fountainhead of the community. I'm not questioning that. I'm just questioning the process here. And Mayor, you could have avoided this, but you chose not to.
Alderman.
I would just like to say, you know what this reminds me, I agree with you, Pat. This reminds me of the night at council meeting, I'm not sure if you were on or not, when we lost Maple Tree. I knew that night when it started to get into a debate, tit for tat, tit for tat. I knew that night when he walked out the door, he was never coming back to Blue Island. It took him a year and a half, maybe two. And where are they now? It was just kind of back and forth over, I don't even remember. And now they're gone. And that was a great business. I hope I don't see that tonight. And I mean no disrespect, Alderman Fairwell. This reminds me exactly of that meeting.
Any other Alderman concerns? Otherwise, there's an Alderman Rowe.
Yeah, I'd just like to say before I vote, that on principle, I do think it's important that we follow due process. That the findings of the board be brought to committee so we can discuss it there and not feel pressured to do it here. But that being said, I do appreciate this is time sensitive in nature.
Thank you. There's a motion made and seconded to table. You vote aye to table. There's a motion, I'm clarifying, there's a motion, I don't want to forget, there's a motion and a second to table. If you vote aye to table, it tables it. If you vote no, then we go back to the original motion. Is there a roll call, please?
Table. Johnson,
No.
Alderman Fairwell,
Aye.
Alderman Rita,
No.
Alderman Montoya.
No.
Alderman McGee,
Nothing against the Gorettos. And I would love a dispensary here in Blue Island. But aye.
Alderman Carr,
No.
Alderman Rowe.
No.
5 noes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Table fails. Back to the original motion. Do we remember who made the motion? Second?
Yes, Rita, motion,
Okay.
Montoya,
So
second.
back to the original motion to approve the location and the Uptown District. Back to the number 3 on the ordinance, granting a special use permit for Island Time LLC to operate within the C1 district. There's been a motion and a second. Please do the roll call.
Alderman Johnson,
Aye.
Alderman Fairwell,
This will set an incredibly bad precedent for the future. No.
say aye.
No.
Alderman Rita,
Aye.
Alderman Montoya.
Aye.
Alderman McGee,
Again, I want a dispensary here. No. On the
Alderman
location.
Carr,
Aye.
Alderman Rowe.
Aye.
5 ayes, Your Honor.
All right, motion carries. Thank you. Next, we have ordinance 2021. Howard, thank you. You're going to might as well stay up for this one too. Ordinance of the City of Blue Island, Cook County, Illinois, granting a special use permit for Jessica Blanco for Alpha Says Food Services to operate within the UTD district. This is the current city limits that they are proposing to make into a part use of tortilla factory. So is there a motion or a second?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Alderman Rita, is there a second? Alderman Carr on the question. Alderman Fairwell.
I would have the same objection to this as I did the other one. It's just a process question. Why isn't this going to committee of the whole?
So this is the first time since the actually, it's not the first time coming to the agenda. It's the first time it's been brought up. I'm hearing you're going to committee for stuff out of planning and zoning. I have no issue with that. I don't think this is a time crunch. I've laid on the alderman on this one, and we can send everything going without a time crunch to committee. But we've had a few things from the first meeting already come through city council. So I just assumed that they're not asking for any major changes. It goes to council. We talked about cutting red tape before. So I'm agreeing with whatever the council wants to decide. I just want to be on the same page.
I understand, if I might just say, yes, I agree with cutting red tape. The idea of combining planning and zoning did that. They were able to do this with hearing in front of one group. So that's cutting red tape. It then should proceed to committee of the whole, where we can properly discuss and consider it, and then go to city council. That should just be the process of these things followed.
Is there a motion to table?
I'll move.
Motion to table. Is there a second?
Second.
Alderman McGee. Any question? Roll call.
Alderman Johnson. To table.
Aye.
Alderman Fairwell.
Aye.
Alderman Rita.
No.
Alderman Montoya.
Aye.
You said
Aye.
aye. Alderman McGee.
Aye.
Alderman Carr.
No.
Alderman Roll.
Aye.
5 ayes.
Motion to table. Thank you, Howard. So that being said, for this one, since it's not on the agenda, we can discuss it. And we'll just, are we in agreement to send it to the next city council after committee tomorrow night? It's not on the agenda tomorrow.
Can it be brought up as a discussion item?
I'll bring it up as a discussion item.
Okay, would that be okay with you?
I'll make
Alderman
a
Carr?
separate.
I
scenario.
mean,
Otherwise,
I
we'll push it
understand,
up.
I agree with you, Alderman Fairwell, but we shouldn't be,
We'll bring it up tomorrow night and discuss it tomorrow.
but because of the way it was handled.
All right, we did number 5, the proclamations, mayor announcements. Other business other than what I was discussed earlier, the LED street light repairs have begun. The first 25 were upgraded today, and they will be doing roughly 25 a day until we upgrade all 565 city-owned street lights. These are the ones on the metal poles. All the wood poles are operated by ComEd, and most of those have already been converted to LEDs. So simultaneously, hopefully by cold weather, the entire city will be LED. They will all use about 25% less energy, and all this will be paid by ComEd through the grant that Burke Engineering gets. We continue to meet with potential new business developers and retail owners as we work to revitalize our economy. Last week, we met with the Artisan Ice Cream Store, for example, who was interested in the Jevons building. As we will hear tonight, we already did, the cannabis dispensary, and other options for tax revenue in the city they're working on constantly. I guys have told you my schedule before. Almost every single day, I know between 4 and 7, I have meetings at the city, and I'm trying to do the best we can bringing business to the town. That being said, it's everything for mayor's business. City clerk.
The Lake Parade fundraiser at Double Play is Friday night. The Scarecrow event is at York and Western on Saturday at 6 o'clock. We are having a Day of the Dead. It's a new event, November 2nd. You could drop off pictures at the clerk's office, copies of pictures. Vendor spots still open. I will have Halloween decorations in front of City Hall and pictures for Halloween night. Mirabel Salgado and the Realtor Executive, I believe it's called, firm, has donated trees to the city, and Val Kehoe has been planting them throughout the city. Thanks to Jim Polstrom and his group for picking up the trees. First Responders Day will be October 16th, this Saturday, 10 to 1 at the John D. Rita Center, organized by Alderman Dexter Johnson. All bids will be open tomorrow night during the meeting of the whole for the property that was scheduled to open tomorrow. City Hall hours have been changed starting Monday. It'll be 7:30 to 5, Monday through Friday, 8 to 12, for the first Saturday of the month. trunk or treat from the Park District. You can see Louise Montoya. That's October 30th at 2 p.m. That's all I got.
Thank you. City Treasurer.
Included in your packet was the monthly report ending September 30th, 2021. Need a motion for approval.
Is there a motion? Alderman Fairwell, second by Alderman Carr on the question. Alderman Fairwell?
I have a question that may not be appropriate, but I can think of a place to ask it. We are still waiting for a accurate financial picture of the city. I asked about it, I think May, and I was told we'd have it by the end of August. We still don't. So we know
They're still working on the audit. It should be finishing up very soon. That'll give us exactly.
an audit. I'm not an auditor. I'm not asking for an audit so much as I'm asking for when can we see, what our future cash flow position is going to be.
When can we see when our future what?
Cash flow is going to be,
Revenue expenditure report, Tom or Mark. We have an updated one. I know I've seen some, but I don't know how accurate.
Hi, Tom Wogan, City Administrator. So Alderman Rowe and I have a standing weekly meeting where now have been producing reports that's basically year to date spending by account. As I'll just give you a quick synopsis of the update I gave Alderman Rowe last Thursday, which is, and you can take it from there if you like, Alderman. So we do have revenue and expenditure reports that we can show you and happily produce at whatever date range you want, or just year to date. Our accounting is going through a lot of upkeep and repair work basically right now. So basically what our process is right now is we're sort of working backwards from the audit. So as the auditors need things, then the accountants are sort of adjusting that. So they're still saying October. We had a little bit of a delay because of CARES Act, taking more than $600,000 of federal money, and that triggers a different part of the audit, as it were, a little bit more involved. But they are still saying October. So they're still saying that they think this month they could have a completed audit. That'll be your final answer. But if it's because, I can show you account by account right now, Mark can as well, where we're at percentage wise, but you're going to see some funky accounting in there. Because for example, there's like 4 months of water bills that were never posted to the accounts prior to this administration's arrival. So I can't really answer to it. But you're talking about a lot of money that's not accounted for correctly. There's also expenditures that aren't properly accounted for. So when Alderman Rowe and I are going through these things, you see certain line items that they said it's funky accounting. It says that 1,000% of the budget and line items are even spent. Something was charged to there, and we're picking out those problems piece by piece. So I know that's a long answer, but if you want to see a snapshot, happy to provide one to the whole city council at any given time. If you want that on a weekly basis, like I said, I've been working with the finance liaison to try to provide that information to the council. But the final audit, which should be produced by the end of this month, will be sort of the final tail of the tape of what our cash position is.
Okay.
I'll just add to that, in addition to those specific areas that Mr. Wogan mentioned that we know are off, the report as it exists now would still give you a pretty good holistic sense of where the city's at.
Especially on big ticket items, the stuff where
It would be helpful to see that then, even if it's not 100%.
Could we see that tomorrow night at the committee of the whole?
Yeah, absolutely.
The expenditure,
Yeah, I'll run the
Revenue
report in the
report?
morning for year to date. It'll be up to date to the day.
Thank you.
Happy to do so.
For the treasurer's report.
No. I still take my stance, maybe with the marijuana dispensary that we can afford this procedural audit. For the forensic audit, I've been asking for about 12 years.
aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Carried. Next, we have resolution 2021, a resolution of the city of Blue Cook County, Illinois, to authorize and approve a memorandum of understanding with the Cook County Sheriff's Office. I don't know if the police department wants to speak on this. Chief, thank you. Chief, is that a new patch on your uniform?
Indeed it is, sir.
Oh,
Why don't you show the council or describe, I don't think we were told the council you need badges.
The badge?
Purchase, yeah, on your own.
Yes, so for the 20th anniversary of 9/11, we went ahead and ordered ourselves some new badges. And then for breast cancer, we were going to order pink badges, but seeing as though we're absorbing the cost personally, we're only going to do the one badge for September 11th, and then next October, we'll all be in pink badges.
Great.
Sergeant Cephasy looks a little bit better than me because he has stripes on his shirt. I don't. But either way, good evening, everybody. We do have an opportunity to partner with the Cook County Sheriff's Department Treatment Response Team. It is a new program they are launching. Essentially, in the event that we get called to an incident where criminal behavior is at a minimum, we do have an opportunity to contact a medically licensed clinician on a 24-hour-a-day basis who specializes in crisis intervention, post-incident support for those people experiencing mental disorders. The clinicians assist in securing the mental health, substance abuse, other treatment services, not only to the individual, but also to the family. As mandated reporters, the clinicians facilitate safety plans for those at risk of suicide, overdose, or domestic violence. Partnering with the TRT provides the police department with another tool to utilize and de-escalate potentially dangerous situations. So I'm excited for this. I know the department is excited for this. It's a new program. I'm sorry. It's a new program. Basically, what would happen is the sergeant would make the initial call, and everybody would be equipped with one of these cards. In the event that the sergeant needs to leave that specific call, the victim or the one in need will have access. And it's a Zoom call. We dial in right away. They answer right away, and we get help right away. So I'm excited for it.
Thank you. Good, sir. We need a motion and a second, then we can have any follow-up questions. Motion by Alderman Fairwell, a second by Alderman Roll. Any questions? Not please do the roll.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Fairwell.
Aye.
Alderman Rita.
Aye.
Alderman Montoya.
Aye.
Alderman McGee.
Aye.
Alderman Carr.
Aye.
Alderman Roll.
Aye.
7 ayes, Your Honor.
Motion carries. Aldermanic announcements, reports, or comments. Alderman Johnson, I saw first. All right, it's on you, Alderman Rita. You were second.
So I just wanted to make an announcement. I'm not sure if anyone is aware or Blue Island is aware, but Lopez Tire Shop, they used to be over here on York Street. And over COVID or right before COVID, I'm not quite sure, but they moved. And I recently had a nail in one tire and a screw in another tire. And they said that they're not sure if Blue Island knows that they moved over on Vincent Street. So I just want to make an announcement just in case that they are over at 12401 Vincent Road over on Blue Island. It used to be the cleaners. So cleaners. That's all I got.
Thank you, Alderman Johnson.
Yes. First, I want to thank Val Keelholt for the community garden, the great job she's done down there. She had some nice little meals prepared once a month for anybody who wants to join. And I just want to say thank you to her personally and publicly. And hope people can come back down and get garden. And I know City Clerk Cantello talked about the First Responders Day, but she didn't use her usual flair. So I'm going to let you guys know. October the 16th, this Saturday, 10 a.m. to 1 at the John D. Reader Center, featuring our first responders. Also featuring the Park District, Salvation Army, and the Library. gonna be giving out, library cards, signing people up for library cards down there. Fun for the whole family, smoke detectors and fire safety, as well as book bags, by the police department, and maybe even some cadet information for the future. All is welcome. If you guys can make it to stop by, that'd be greatly appreciated. And if not, your thoughts are, welcome.
Thank you, Alderman. Alderman
I did
Fairwell.
make all those flyers for you, Dexter.
Thank you.
Alderman Fairwell.
Thank you. I will second Alderman Rita's endorsement of the tire repair folks. I went down there with a tire that was burst by a Blue Island pothole recently. Oh, yeah. No, in some places, no. I was very happy that we got the video recording going last week, or at the last session, and our friends who put this together did explain that there were some audio issues still, or there were. Have they been resolved, you know?
Waiting on the parts from China.
Okay, all right.
Also, to
Oh,
help,
boy. Okay.
we speaking directly into this, it's a lot better.
Yeah,
With the chips.
right.
Right.
And will the committee of the whole meeting to be broadcast?
You're taking the fire out of me tomorrow night, Alderman.
All right, sorry. That's
Eye in
good.
the sky is watching for everything now.
Great, well, good. Then I'll be there. All right, that's great. Jim's not here tonight, so I'll defer that. And I just did want to ask, I know we got a lot going on, but we haven't done anything about developing the community development commission yet. I'm just kind of curious where it stands.
Up for discussion, but I do want to make an announcement. Bell's name was brought up. It'll be at my next city
Okay.
council meeting.
That's all.
Any other Alderman comments? Concerns?
Yes, actually, the 119th Street project, where do we stand on that?
I just talked to Hyro from Robinson. The company that bid on the Collins also bid on the 19th, and they were held up with the rain from the last week project, but they said they were going to be out there today. I have not driven over there saying they're doing saw cutting, but I apologize. I sent the Collins email to Bill, but they want to start both at the same time. I think they said no later than the 17th. Is that what they said in the email? And it really bothers me. I don't know if even Alderman read my previous emails. I said, you told us the 27th of September, and now you're pushing it back another 3 weeks without telling us. So they're the same contractor won both projects, and they wanted to wait to start both projects. So that delayed them first. Now they're delayed by a previous project they were working on because of labor shortage. But they said by the 17th, they'll be out there visible. I also emailed to, Launch Group emailed me on the same issue. I said the same thing that they told me, be there by the 17th.
And they did commit to being done on time.
Yes, they still committed by end of November to be done for both projects, both streets. All right, if nothing else.
Yes, it is. Happy birthday to Mrs. Schultz and the mayor
Oh, that's right.
and myself.
Yes.
Happy birthday, Mayor, and happy birthday.
You're a little late on the
Johnson.
mayor, but my dad's birthday is Thursday, so you got time for him still. 70.
Well, happy birthday to you all, and also my wife.
Yep. School board member McGee,
Yes.
happy birthday officially from the city council.
There you go.
I got her early when she walked in, so I don't know who else beat me to it already. Nothing else, we need a motion to adjourn. Motion by Alderman Rita, second by Alderman Fairwell, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?